welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys can hear. Stop. You can't just laugh when I'm doing my intro like that. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Pooja, and as always, thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video is going to be, again, not in front of the blue wall. We are actually at Barnes & Noble today to do a little book shopping vlog, and then, I guess, a haul, assuming that I find some books to buy. So, I normally, don't try to shop at Barnes & Noble or, big booksellers and try to go to local bookstores, but a lot of the local bookstores in my area are implementing, an appointment-based thing, so you have to, know a few days in advance that you want to go, and I kind of decided, this morning that I wanted to do this, so, Barnes & Noble was pretty much my only option, so here I am. I'm here with my sister, who is sitting over here, and keeps making me laugh, but that's fine. So yeah, I'm excited. I am looking for a couple of specific books. I was hoping to get a copy of Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, and also hopefully get a copy of A Luminous Republic by Andre Barda, something like that. But we'll see if we can find them. I always tend to, come to Barnes & Noble and then, see a bunch of other books and then just, buy those instead. So, you never know what's going to happen when you do one of these vlogs, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to take you guys along with me and show you my little book shopping experience, and then hopefully have a bit of a haul to show you. I actually do have a bunch of books that are on order from some of my local bookstores, but they're taking a really long time to come because I think they have to get them shipped from other places. So I kind of need some books to read this week, so figured might as well just physically come to a bookstore. This is actually my first time coming to a bookstore after Corona, so got my mask on, which all of y'all should be wearing wherever you go. But yeah, we're gonna go do this, and it's gonna be fun, and I'm excited to take you guys along.
I'm just saying that, we're here. Okay. Oh, disgusting walk. Keep walking faster, faster. We don't like the test prep section. Okay, I've read the back. This is non-fiction stuff now. It's coffee table books. Okay, let's go back to fiction. No, I don't want a Sudoku book. So we found this. What the heck? An unauthorized parody. Is it just poems that are in that style?
Yeah. They say man cannot live on bread alone. Imagine the car.
Aha. Found it. Huzzah. Amazing. I have no idea what this book is about, but yep, sad. Okay, so I was in the fiction section, could not find what I was looking for. Then I went to poetry, still couldn't find what I was looking for. And we were like, oh, let's just go now, it's fine. And then I came to the religion section, which arguably is not where this book is supposed to be, but Gibran! I have so many of his books. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get one. Hype. Once again, walk out of a Barnes & Noble having spent way too much money. Thank you for taking all my money.
Hey guys, okay, we are back from Barnes & Noble. I think it's gonna rain, but luckily it didn't rain while we were coming back to the car, so that's good at least. We ended up buying 4 books, which is pretty exciting. Once again, I've spent way too much money in a bookstore, but what's new? That's what always happens. So anyway, I thought I would do this a bit of a haul-y thing where I just kind of tell you guys what books I got, because I actually ended up finding everything I was looking for, which is awesome and never really happens. Okay, so maybe we start with this one. Okay, so the first book that I got is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So this is a book by a Lebanese-American author. I think it's quite old, 1923. This was actually supposedly one of the, most popular books in the US in, the middle of the 20th century. And it's a book of poems by Khalil Gibran, and he's supposed to be just, a really beautiful writer. And I've been meaning to read this for a while now, so I'm glad I finally found a copy. This was so hard to find because I was looking for it and, where all the classics are. Then I went to look for it in the poetry section, it wasn't there. And then we were just sadly walking by because I was I guess I'm not going to find it, even though online they said they had it. And then we just happened to walk through the religious text section, and then there was a whole shelf of different editions of this. So I was Oh, nice. And so I got this one. I really like how it's really pretty, the cover as well, so I'm kind of excited about that. It shouldn't be too long, so I'm hoping to finish it rather quickly, but I heard it's really good, so I'm really excited. I don't actually read a ton of poetry, so this should be a fun new challenge for me. Okay, the next book that we are going to talk about is A Luminous Republic by Andre Barba is the name. He is a Spanish author, and I actually don't know too much about this book. It's, again, not very long, but it's supposed to be like a really interesting psychological thriller type of book. So I am looking forward to it, and it should be a fun book, and it fits in well to my Around the World series because I have not read a book from Spain yet, so this should be fun. Okay, the next book that I have is The Museum of Innocence by Orhan Pamuk. Pamuk is a really famous Turkish author. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature, and his books are known to be basically modern classics in Turkey. I'd actually heard about him quite a bit when I visited Turkey last year, and I spent a good amount of time in like some random bookshops there, as one does, and had seen a bunch of his books, but I hadn't actually picked any of them up, and so I was really looking forward to this. This book also is apparently supposed to be a really nice ode to sort of the new sort of opulence that Istanbul experienced in sort of the latter half of the 20th century, and is supposed to be a really interesting look at that particular period in history. So I'm kind of excited to just see this as like an exploration of an Istanbul that existed before the one that I got to see when I went in 2019. So I think that should be like an interesting thing to just, you know, consider the differences that a city goes through as generations change. As well, it's supposed to be just like a really nice like drama, love story type of thing. So I think this will be really good, and of course he's a Nobel laureate, so I'm sure it will be a beautifully written book, so I'm very excited about this one. And then the last book that we got is actually a young adult book. It's Arusha and the End of Time. I have heard so much about this book. So a lot of booktubers have talked about this in the past, and I was super excited when I heard that like Rick Riordan had done all these series of books that were about different types of mythology from different parts of the world. Growing up, Percy Jackson was like this huge phenomenon, and I loved all of the Percy Jackson books. So did my sister, who actually first saw this book and said we should pick it up. And I was really excited about this one because this one actually follows a similar like concept as Percy Jackson, with like this modern kid who's thrust into this like mythological world. But it looks at Hindu mythology, which is really interesting because, you know, we have grown up in a Hindu household, have like heard all of the Hindu mythology stories, and like have grown up with all these religious traditions. But it's, you don't normally like get something that encapsulates your identity as an Indian American that well, because, or a Hindu American specifically that well, because you've got this like ancient Hindu mythology that's part of your identity, but you're also like growing up in America in this like modern, very secular society, which is sometimes a little difficult to come to terms with. So even though this is like a kid's book, it's like for middle grade readers, I think it'll be a really nice way to sort of think about like what it was like being an Indian American kid, growing up in this society where you've got like two parts of your identity that don't always make sense together, but having them come together, and then also having like the fantastical elements that are of course going to be in this book. So I'm super excited about this one. It should be a pretty easy read, and I think it's a series, so hopefully once we both get through this one, we'll like it, and we'll get the other two books. I think it's a trilogy. And I've heard great things about the author, Roshni Chokshi. I've heard that she has a great writing style, and it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll just be cool to have this kind of representation in like a kid's book. And honestly, like, I think both of us saw this when we were in Barnes & Noble today, but if you like look around at just all the displays and stuff, there's so much more representation of different cultures and people of color in general than there used to be when we used to go to bookstores when we were younger, and it was like almost all the books had like white protagonists. That's all you basically saw. But now you've got so many books coming out that have protagonists of color, even in the young readers and young adult fantasy sections, which I think is awesome, and I think it's great that kids today have such a wider selection of books that they can read with characters that really represent who they are, whether it's along the dimension of like race, ethnicity, sexuality, whatever it may be. So I think that's awesome, and I'm very excited about this. It should be a fun little read. So yeah, those are the 4 books that we got today. I'm super excited for all of them. It should be a ton of fun. But yeah, that was today's haul. I am excited to get into these books, and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, if you like this video, please drop it a like. If you found any of these books interesting, please leave a note in the comments. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.